First game is started up. In fact, we have Warlock versus Mage as the first matchup. Kaldi
Wow.
bring the Mage. Amaz being what looks to be a handlock from the opening hand. We can't really tell, but it has Sneed's Old Shredder.
Yeah, you know there's a Sneeze Old Shredder. Does that represent handlock systematically nowadays? I mean, do you cut Ragnaros from... I mean, some builds of handlock used to run Rag, right? I mean, is that something you cut now because of BGH and you put in Sneed's Old Shredder instead?
It's kind of weird because a lot of decks like Warrior have been trying to avoid BGH targets. Like they're cutting the Rag, they're cutting the Alexstrasza for Sneeds, for Kel'Thuzad, those targets that can't be BGH essentially. But Handlock is a deck that just naturally has a lot of 8 attack creatures. The Mountains, the Moltens, you can't really avoid it. So putting in Sneed's Old Shredder just seems to me like he's not actually trying to avoid BGH, but rather he just thinks Sneed's Old Shredder is just a strong card overall.
Yeah. Also, what's interesting is Twilight Drakes will eat up silences a lot of the time. So Sneed's Old Shredder might not be silenced, so it might act as a 2 legendaries in 1 at that point. All right.
Yeah, of course, we have the Freeze Mage versus Handlock matchup. It's interesting that different types of players will bring different types of mages, as I've said, and Amaz is kind of have to try to guess what kind of mage this is. And from the Mad Scientist, oh no, he's going to play Loot Hoarder as his first card. Kaldi goes for the Loot Hoarder, and that kind of signals for me, or at least should signal for Amaz, that it should be a Freeze Mage, because none of the other types of mages really run cards like Loot Hoarder. Loot Hoarder is all about cycling through and throughout your entire deck to get the most important cards like Alexstrasza, like Archmage Antonius, to get those freezes out, to get those Doomsayer freeze combos out.
Yeah, that's the whole point of them, really. And it's interesting to note that, oh, he's actually running the Acolyte of Pain as well. I have seen a lot of variants of Handlock that runs either or, but not necessarily both.
You mean
so
the
I find it kind of interesting. Mage. Yeah, Freeze Mage with the Acolyte of Pain as well.
Yeah, I think, I think Freeze Mage is usually, they run Acolyte of Pain as a standard, just because you can just ping it so easily. And usually at worst, it's a cantrip. If they hit it for 3 damage, it just cycles itself.
Alright, so actually, it's funny to notice that Amaz actually just coined out nothing to set up a turn 4 that he felt comfortable with, as opposed to using Ironbeak Owl or the Dark Bomb on the Loot Hoarder. He gets a Twilight Drake.
Twilight Drake off the top. It's going to be very good. It avoids BGH. Not many Freeze Mages run BGH, but still, the 4 health Twilight Drake is enough to challenge whatever board that the Freeze Mage can put out in the first 2 turns, so it's definitely strong enough.
Yeah, and it's threatening enough that the mage will have to eventually, play cards to deal with it. So at 4 damage a pop, it doesn't look like a lot in the immediate sense, but over time it does add up.
Yeah, normally when you're playing against Acolytes of Pain, your immediate instinct is to silence it. So Amaz might be looking to silence the Acolyte of Pain, but also in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking, Doomsayers are really the card that I really want to silence, because if my opponent clears the board with Doomsayer, I've pretty much got no pressure on the board. I have to start over, and then the Freeze Mage will be able to cycle way too much and just draw out all the damage he needs.
Yeah. So now, if you're in Amaz's position, you're looking at the ability to, you can play the Mountain Giant right now, but if you didn't play it previously, are you interested in playing it just now? I don't think there's... is there a lot of interest there? I feel like healing up is not even necessary yet, because you have to wait until Alexstrasza falls down at least, to make sure that you can, recover from that mage putting you down at 15.
Well, Amaz is going to use the Mountain Giant and the Dark Bomb. I think the Dark Bomb was mostly to clear off the 2 damage from the board, but also so that he would have less of a full hand, so he can actually tap next turn.
Yeah, life tap, consequently.
Amaz is a very important card in his hand right now, and that's the Antique Healbot. And he also has the Earthen Ring Farseer, so that represents at least 11 points of health whenever Kaldi starts burning him.
Yeah, and at the moment, Kaldi's going to try the Doomsayer play here to try to wipe the board from Amaz, but I don't know that it's going to be very effective, because Amaz decided to keep his Ironbeak Owl right away. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Keeping the Ironbeak Owl was definitely a great decision.
Yeah.
And now he'll be able to Mountain Giant and Ironbeak Owl. It seems like the obvious play to me.
Yeah, because you're forcing your opponent to have more freezes. Yeah, and if he doesn't have them, then you can just start attacking for 20 a turn.
Yeah, Kaldi's hand isn't looking that great right now. He has a lot of burn and he has his Alexstrasza, but you really want right now is your freezes and your board clears, because this is basically how Handlock wins. They develop way too strong of a board, and they keep doing 4 to 8 damage to you with those giants and with those Twilight Drakes. Kaldi pretty much has no way to stop these giants and drakes from hitting him in the face next turn, except if he expends like Ice Lances on the giants, which really isn't that great to me.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it wouldn't feel like an amazing play either way, because he's currently facing down 2 8/8s. Slowing them down will help, but it will not win the game. Playing to win can't really allow him to do that. So do you just, I mean, if he had Frost Nova number 2 or a Blizzard right now, he would be in a much more comfortable position. As it is, does he just have to play his secrets?
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't pop the secrets yet.
Yeah, we see even Mad Scientists in this Freeze Mage deck, and we've seen in modern Freeze Mage decks, even the Cone of Colds have been cut out, so that's one less freeze that Mage could have in their deck. So we see pretty much Kaldi's used one Frost Nova, and he has basically one Frost Nova left and 2 Blizzards. So yeah. Kaldi deems it's not really viable to try to survive. You just got to go for face, hope for the best, hope he doesn't have any heals. But that plan's going to backfire for him, because Amaz is pretty much all the heals he could want in the world.
Yeah, Amaz can only play one of them, though. He can play the Molten Giant for free here if he wants, and then follow it up with Anti-Heal Bot, but that's going to bring him to 16. And unless a Frostbolt is top decked, I don't think he'll be able to kill him.
Using the Anti-Heal Bot plus the Molten Giant would pretty much bring him down to... would put 6 minions on the board. So he either has to trade the Owl into the Mad Scientist, or not play the Ancient Watcher, so his board will have B6. We'll have 6 creatures this turn, because if he fills the board with 7 creatures and his opponent Frost Novas his board, he would have to expend like a Dark Bomb or a Shadow Flame in order to clear 1 minion from his own side of the board to Earthring Farseer. So I think Amaz going into the next turn, he definitely wants only 6 minions on his board.
Yeah, and the interesting thing now is that Kaldi's got to feel a little more confident, because he does realize that Amaz doesn't have the lethal, obviously, at the moment, and he's got his 2 secrets, right? The 2 secrets he needs to stall just a little longer in order to get to turn perhaps 9 and 10 for Pyroblast. I mean, unless that's a lot of damage still that Amaz has taken. It might not look like a big problem, but going face here was a really nice play by Kaldi, just deciding to try to get the lethal as soon as possible.
Yeah, what does Kaldi do? Luckily for him, he's drawn his Blizzard, so he can stall for at least 1 more turn, but as we know, there's the Rag in Amaz's hand, and that's a possibility for lethal for Amaz next turn.
Yeah, there was also a little bit of a slight misplay from Amaz earlier, which is almost negligible, where he silenced the Doomsayer instead of silencing his own Giant to kill the Doomsayer, which would have led to him having 1 less Ragnaros target to gamble with. But it's not really a big deal. I keep thinking, do you Ice Block and try for another Fireball? I mean, it's just so weird right now. I mean, he could sacrifice a Mad Scientist if he wants, but that reduces the amount of damage output he's going to be making by a lot.
Okay, he deems that the 2 damage for the Mad Scientist is worth less than a potential secret on the board. I wish we could see what secret it is. I didn't see any of the secrets
being grayed out. Yeah, I didn't see it yet. We'll figure it out once the turn comes around. But whichever one it is, Amaz will try to pop it. Like, it doesn't really matter. Unless he can find lethal with Ragnaros right now, and it is Ice Barrier.
Yeah, unfortunately, their Handlock doesn't have Innervate.
Yeah.
So Amaz won't be able to play Ragnaros plus another spell.
No, he'll just be able to play Ragnaros alone. That's all he can do. Ragnaros and hope that it 33%'s the mage phase.
Yeah, Amaz is probably counting damage right now, thinking what could Kaldi possibly have. And I believe it is possible for Kaldi to kill him if he draws a Frostbolt. So this Frostbolt is 3...
Oh no, he just needs, if this is Ice Block currently, he can win off of the following turn, because next turn he plays Fireball, Ice Lance, and then Pyroblast. That would be nearly good enough.
All
All
right,
right.
Amaz goes for the YOLO play. Typical Amaz.
And doesn't work out, not this time. It is an ice block. The ice block is grayed out, which means Kaldi is guaranteed another turn to live.
That's
So-
definitely the better secret of the two for the mad scientist to pop out.
Yeah, most definitely. And now you have to be asking yourself, do you just go for the Fireball Ice Lance, or do you try to Arcane Intellect as a prelude? Because fetching Frostbolt would really seal the deal here, most of the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. But if you go for the kind of YOLO play where you just put more spells into his face, Amaz could have Jiraxis and then just heal basically back to 15 HP.
Yep. So maybe stalling until Frostbolt is found would be the best play. You have another ice block, so you're not afraid of dying. You have 2 turns of safety, in a way. Oh wow.
Oh,
that will tend to do it.
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty much instant kill on turn 10. Fireball for 6, Frostbolt for 3, and then double Ice Lance. And Kaldi playing it very slowly. He indicated he had a spell in hand, but can Amaz really do anything about it though?
Well, at this point, as the freeze mage or as the handlock player, you're definitely thinking, oh, he definitely has at least 1 fireball or 1 frostbolt or a 1 ice lance.
He has to. Like it's statistically almost impossible that he doesn't have either of them. Well, you have to heal yourself at the very least, or attempt to. This is a precarious position for a handlock to be in. Like it's just low enough on health that you know you're vulnerable to many things.
All right, Amaz is just trying to pop the ice block. Oh, first he has to see if it's ice block or not. He didn't know, but
yeah,
we
he
did.
couldn't know. Yeah.
So he's trying to do as much damage to the mage without popping it.
Yeah, and if it's ice barrier, then he also wants to demolish it through with a molten giant. I mean, if he kills the Doomsayer, the Ragnaros will guaranteed pop the ice block, no matter what happens here.
Okay, there it is, the ice block.
So there's only 1 ice barrier in Kaldi's deck, is what that means, because he has 1 in hand, and that is it.
Yeah, and we can see why Kaldi made that mad scientist play a few turns before, where he just suicided his mad scientist into one of Amaz's creatures in order to get the ice block.
Yeah, he knew for sure what it was going to be. All right, well that is how much damage? Is that the full array of 10 mana? Fireball, double Frostbolt, and double Ice Lance?
Well, you're definitely gonna have to ice block this turn, and with that you have 7 mana left. So
well, he has lethal actually. I think Fireball, double Frostbolt.
Oh
is
yeah,
12,
that's lethal.
and double
20
Ice
damage.
Lance.
Frostbolt, double ice lance, and fireball is a 20 damage combo.
Yeah, but you have to play Fireball last because you don't want to thaw him out of the freeze, right?
This game really isn't Pokemon.
Oh,
So-
are you sure about that? I was told otherwise. All right, well that'll be it. Freeze Mage prevailing against Handlock. It was a really good matchup pre-GVG. I remember it was very one-sided for the Freeze Mage. Has anything changed? I mean, anti-Killbot obviously play a little bit of a bigger role right now in the metagame.
Well, basically, Freeze Mage is pretty much the same deck, except some people tend to run Explosive Sheeps. But generally, Explosive Sheep isn't that great against Handlock because just Handlock's boards are way too sturdy for the 2 damage AoE from the Explosive Sheep.
Yeah.
So I would say that combined with anti-Keelbot makes the Handlock's position slightly better in this matchup.
Than it used to be. All right. So that's kind of interesting. Also, I'd like to point out we've raised $185 directly for Child's Play Foundation. So thanks for the donors. That is really appreciated. And yeah, keep going like this. It's awesome. We'll be raising hopefully quite a bit by the end of this whole 3-day tournament.
Now, Kaldi up 1-0 with the Freeze Mage. Amaz has 2 decks left. He has at least the Priest and... what's his second deck? Oh, he has his own
He's a mage. Yeah, he has his own mage as well. I don't know what it is. I mean, we've seen a lot of Freeze Mage, so I'm going to make a massive assumption that it might be Freeze Mage as well, which is interesting. It's funny that Mage came back in strength post GVG. It's a class that just completely disappeared and now is just everywhere. As you said, you know, the new Warlock with so many archetypes that you can't know what you're going to be up against.
Well, just judging from Amaz's previous tournaments and what he's been playing on stream, I think Amaz's mage is more likely like a mech mage with unstable portals. Mech
Wow.
mage because it's just really strong.
Mhm.
We saw Tice just a few days ago in the iHeart You King of the Hill. He 4-0'd with mech, his own variation of mech mage against Forsen, who is now dubbed O Forsen.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
Thorson.
And
That's
also,
sad.
Amaz just loves the RNG aspect of Unstable Portal. It can get out crazy creatures, and it can sometimes win games. We saw Amaz, for example, he went on stream one day and he showed people that he got a Master Disguise plus Mal'Ganis, and then his opponent just couldn't kill him, and that's game over. But Amaz is going to
Oh
pick his
my
priest.
goodness. Yep. Looks
Basically,
like
the
it.
priest, it can put a little bit of pressure early if he draws the Dark Cultist, if he draws the Blade Masters, and then he can basically just try to out heal the mage somehow.
So, but it's a bit problematic when Alex Straza is a guaranteed, it's almost 15 damage right away. And you have to heal beyond at least 20-ish, because establishing a board that's going to kill your opponent as priest is maybe a little difficult. So it's going to get cleared consistently. And if he has Alex Straza and his 20 damage array of spells, then that becomes a bit more problematic.
I think the other issue for the priest is that you basically have very few ways to clear out a Doomsayer. You either have to run Shadow Word Pain, or a freeze combo plus Doomsayer will just automatically clear your board.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do run silences, which I do appreciate. But it's kind of been phased out after GVG. I haven't seen much of it since. It's pretty much gone.
Yeah, unfortunately for Amaz, he has the Wild Pyromancer go into the...
Oh wow, he found a
but
Thought Steal.
Good top deck. The Thought Steal allows him to basically clear the Loot Hoarder without sacrificing the Wild Pyromancer. Unfortunately, now it's in ping range. Oh wow, Alex Straza is huge.
Yeah, she's an 8/8.
Ice Barrier, maybe not exactly what you wanted. You definitely would have preferred Ice Block.
Well, if you play Ice Barrier, you can at least let your opponent attack once. The thing is, by playing Ice Barrier, his opponent will be afraid that it is Ice Block, because Kaldi just drew his second one, which means it could be Ice Block that he got from Thought Steal. And the only way for Kaldi to know is to play a minion that will not get killed to trigger the secret, because you can't go all in on a massive spell binge if you're not sure what's going to come out.
Yeah, kind of an unfortunate hand for Amaz, to be honest. He draws basically all of his big creatures. But
Yeah.
oh my god, Ragnaros, I think that is the key card in this matchup, and probably one of the reasons why Amaz picked this priest deck. Ragnaros basically, most freeze mages basically, they don't run BGH and they don't run polymorph. So there's no way for the freeze mage to kill off the Ragnaros. And if the Ragnaros is allowed to go off for just a few turns, one or two turns, freeze mages will just be dead.
But the BGH is in Kaldi's hand, which means he has decided to tech it, and so the Ragnaros will unfortunately not be nearly as useful as you might have hoped it would.
Wow, that's an interesting tech.
Yeah.
I think it's possibly because Kaldi knows Amaz a bit, and Amaz tends to like these Ragnaroses in random decks. Like we saw it in Handlock last game.
Yeah. It wasn't Handlock. Sneed's Shredder is also in the Priest right now. So there's Rag and Sneed's Old in both the Warlock and the Priest build.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Sneeds will pop out another Ragnaros.
Well, I find it interesting that Kaldi decided to attack the minion without checking for the Ice Barrier. That could make a huge difference in his game plan for the later game.
I think as the mage player, you can kind of either ignore it or I don't know.
I mean, if you don't know what it is, it was a 50-50 that it was Ice Barrier or Ice Block based on...
Oh yeah, it was... Or did the Thought Steal come before he drew the second Ice Block?
Yes, right before it did.
Okay, so yeah, a 50-50.
As far as I know. Or did it come afterwards? Now that you mention it, I'm getting lost. So Amaz played it. Kaldi had the Ice Block in his hand on the following turn. Yeah, it came off just before the second Ice Block was drawn. It made me doubt myself there, Monk.
It's alright.
That's fine. So there's nothing to put in the museum in that deck. That's unfortunate.
Interesting choice to choose to play the Blood Mage Thanos instead of the Acolyte. I guess one reason might be that he has to be looking for... he has to think Amaz might have Cabal Shadow Priest, And generally, the Blood Mage Thanos, you'd rather have your opponent steal a Blood Mage Thanos than an Acolyte of Pain, basically, because the Acolyte can potentially draw more than one card.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that you want to make sure that you are going to draw more than one card off of the Acolyte of Pain, assuming you do put it down.
Yeah,
because he had expended most of his mana at that point.
Lotheb, another key card in this matchup, it basically blocks out what the mage can do for a turn. And that's pretty much guaranteed 10 damage next turn for Amaz.
It's going to play a big role, since it's already popped the Ice Barrier, so all that's left are Ice Blocks.
Yeah, unfortunately this Mad Scientist, it won't get much because basically all the secrets have been used already in Kaldi's deck. Right now it's just a vanilla 2/2.
Yep. Amaz is going to check for it nonetheless, which is, at least it'll tank 5 damage at this point if Amaz decides to attack it.
Okay, Circle of Healing. And now Ragnaros comes on the board.
That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely. Amaz has to be thinking, wow, I've got Ragnaros on the board, I'd win, but unbeknownst to him, Kaldi has that BGH.
Big Game Hunter is just all over the place nowadays. It's not even just for Dr. Boom anymore, it's just for everything. It's such a strong card, and I feel like as time passes and decks become more control heavy, the card just increases in power. It's just insane.
But at the same time, we've been seeing players trying to cut BGH targets from their deck.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, I feel.
Yeah, it can get metagamed against. It's just that when it does get value, it's always a very strong swing.
Oh man, it's one of the worst feelings in the world, getting both Mad Scientists out after you've drawn all your secrets.
Yeah. That's the worst, but at least it's going to do something for him. What I find interesting right now is a position where, he has a Recombobulator in his hand. It's really useful with very late game minions, like, 9 drops, for instance, that he might be running. In this case, he's got Alexstrasza, which sadly won't serve much of a purpose unless he uses it on himself. But do you Recombobulate one of your minions and hope that you score, I don't know, what could you score at 5 mana? A Leroy Jenkins?
Well, like Sludge Belcher, I guess. I feel like the problem is that both your minions are pretty strong for the 5 mana cost, so it might not be the best to recombulate your own minions, but I guess it's...
But what else? They're gonna die otherwise, right? You might get Leroy, which would help.
Old Jin.
This is not useful at all.
Yeah, it probably makes his board a bit weaker.
Yeah.
But I guess Amaz's logic was that I kind of just want to get this 3/2 out, I think.
Yeah, when else am I going to use it, right? Just want the body to be put out. And Kaldi now able to freeze and kill the board multiple times in a row with Blizzard and Flame Strike. With the added card draw from Arcane Intellect and Acolyte of Pain, he can stall pretty effectively. And he's nearing the turns where he's going to be able to get his Archmage and a 3-drop out.
Okay, so Kaldi goes for the Arcane Intellect. That means he's probably going to follow with Blizzard, but he also draws the Cone of Cold, which is another choice.
Yeah, an even better choice, in fact.
I wonder what Kaldi has cut from his deck, because he runs 2
Ice Barrier.
Mad Scientists. Once he might have cut 1 Ice Barrier for that BGH, and he might have cut the Explosive Sheeps that some people run for, I don't know, for a Cone of Cold.
Yeah, I've seen Cone of Cold on a lot of mage builds, though, but there's a few, like, slots in Freeze Mage that you can tweak around. And just adapt the deck to your liking. And I feel like Big Game Hunter is a really nice inclusion, because sometimes some of those bigger minions, although they can die to your AoE over multiple turns, you need an immediate answer, and I think Ragnaros is probably the best example of them.
All right, now we're gonna see the Blizzard and the Doomsayer. As we said before, like, there's no way for Priest to deal with Doomsayer pretty much unless they run Shadow Word Pain,
and I kind of doubt Crazed Alchemist.
Yeah, and Crazed Alchemist, of course. Oh, Holy Fire, that's going to be a key card, but not right now.
Yeah.
There's not really anything that Amaz could use it on right now, because he's pretty much on full health.
So do you... No. What can you even do? You just have to pass your turn.
You hope for Kel'Thuzad. Oh, Mal'Ganis!
Mind control! How's the mage going to kill this? He's going to have to use his 1 fireball on this. He's going to have to cycle it away.
I mean, not as good as Kel'Thuzad, I would say.
Yeah, but
one of the best drops he could have hoped for.
Most definitely. Well, it's not like the mage would have killed him right now, anyway. But that will, if he had Alexstrasza, that would delay that by at least 1 entire turn. Actually, can you Alexstrasza someone who has Mal'Ganis? Because you're not effectively dealing damage to them, are you?
You know, out of all people, I thought you would know, Noxious, so I'm a little disappointed in you.
I absolutely have no clue. I mean, I wish I could say I do, but I just don't. Just like one circumstance, I just no information whatsoever.
Okay, so the second Doomsayer is gonna go down. Fair enough.
Is this where he gets Holy Smite and Holy Fire, Holy Smites it?
Light of the Naru. That's not
Wait.
good enough?
No, it's nearly good enough.
I mean, if he had a Circle of Healing, it would be just good enough.
Or
Yeah,
a second
that's-
Light of the Naru. That's unfortunate for him, but
Yeah, Light of the Naru is a card that not a lot of Priest players play, but Amaz is known for playing it. I believe in all iterations of Priests that he's brought to tournaments post-GVG, he's brought one copy of Light of the Naru, and sometimes he's even brought Valen's Chosen.
yeah. Do you try here for a very all-in play with your spells and Akanai to ping face as much as possible, force a defensive Alexstrasza, and then mind control it? Is that ever something that goes through your head at this point if you're Amaz?
I mean, Amaz definitely has. Well, I think the mind control, you probably want to save it for something like Archmage Antonius.
Yeah, most definitely, you're right.
I mean, stealing Archmage Antonius is, I would say, pretty good, especially because you're running all these cheap spells. Like you're running Light of the Naru. Maybe you're running even Holy Smite. I'd say.
Yeah, but possibly that's like Holy Fire, Holy Smite could be interesting, but Holy Fire is going to have to be kept post Alexstrasza. So this Mal'Ganis of no use to Amaz, unfortunately, but
Now, does Kaldi use the Arcane Intellect to hope to draw into his Alexstrasza? Does he combine it with the Archmage Antonius?
you force a mind control which locks down the priest's turn and gives you the opportunity of then developing something on the board. I need to stop saying developing, of playing something. Alright, so Arcane Intellect for the one fireball and trying to fetch the Alexstrasza, I'm guessing, which he finds, obviously.
There it is.
Oh, hello.
Alexstrasza.
Ouch.
Hello, Alexstrasza. Hello, Pyroblast. Yeah, there's another 1-mana spell. Power Word Shield.
Yeah, where's Gazlo when you need him?
Yeah, unfortunately, Amaz doesn't have a Shadow Word Death, so his only option to quote-unquote remove this Archmage is that Mind Control.
But the thing is, Kaldi still does not know what that secret is, as far as I'm aware. So, if it's Ice Block, that's a lot of damage to just try. Because mages, as there are, with the loss of Archmage in this specific case, have a limited amount of damage output. So if you pop Ice Block on your lethal, then where are you going to find your extra 10 damage that you might need? Especially with Holy Fire and Light of the Naru, that's 6 health in one turn. That's a big amount.
Yeah, Freeze Mage is always such a complicated deck to play. Kaldi has to kind of try to calculate how things will go for the next 2 or 3 turns, whether he has to clear this Archmage Antonius or not, or whether he can just go for the Alexstrasza. I mean, that Archmage has to be really threatening, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's going to at least, you're pretty much guaranteed to have an Ice Block go off, because all he needs is Powered Shield plus double Fireball, and you lose yourself the first Ice Block. And then you have to try to win by expending your 3 next mana on Ice Block, which is borderline impossible.
All right. Kaldi's going for it. Oh, what a great top deck. Shadow Word Death. Not only does it kill off this Alexstrasza, but it gains him a Fireball, and he can use Holy Fire in the same turn.
Actually, if he Shadow Word Deaths, well, let's assume he Holy Fires, because he does have Ice Barrier, right? But he can't let it trigger. He can't show his opponent what it is. He has to force Kaldi to go all in on the option that it is not.
Yeah, that's a good point. He does have Ice Barrier, so that Alexstrasza
would get negated on the option that he
Yeah.
were to try it. But obviously, I think you're right. Shadow Word Death and then Holy Fire is possible.
Yeah, and Light of the Naru is also a heal spell.
Yep. So he doesn't want to play it, is what this probably means.
All right, he's gonna go to pop the block this turn. Yeah, he's saying that okay, I've got Ice Barrier. I don't care about this Alexstrasza on the board.
Which is a bit. I mean, he's seen one Ice Block, one Ice Lance, which is why he feels somewhat safe. But I mean, he knows that his opponent has 2 fireballs in hand, 1 pyroblast. He's counting on Light of the Naru and Holy Nova and the, self heal to carry him through. And he wants to force his opponent to be. Actually, is there? Let's assume it is Ice Barrier, right? You are Kaldi right now.
I think the key is that, well, basically the most amount of damage that a mage can do is 20.
Yeah, and it's not possible now.
And it's not possible just because Amaz has seen Kaldi use one of his Ice Lances, and
Exactly.
the second Ice Lance is necessary for that 20 damage. So Amaz knows he's completely safe right now.
But what if you just go Ice Block as the mage? You go face, it's Ice Barrier, you see it. Then you go Fireball, Frostbolt, Ice Lance. And then you just wait for the next turn's Pyroblast or something. It seems like a pretty risky play not to kill Alexstrasza. I think Shadow Word Deathing her would have...
I mean, no, I think it's all right.
Then again, it's a fine play either way because he still has
I think
to
it's all
attack.
right simply because Kaldi is never going to get any more damage from a minion. Like, he's never going to set off Ice Barrier anyway for any other reason. So right now, Amaz has to heal for at least 4 damage, which he can do with Light of the Naru and just a simple heal.
Alexstrasza himself, then Light of the Naru.
Oh yeah, Alexstrasza himself even. But I would probably clear this Alexstrasza as well, my opponent's Alexstrasza. So my 3 goals for this turn as Amaz are to number 1, clear the Alexstrasza, number 2, pop the Ice Block, and number 3, heal myself out of Pyroblast range. And I think that's just possible with the Shadow Word Death.
Yeah, you're right.
Light of the Naru, heal, and then attack with the Archmage Antonidas.
Yeah, he's actually more than safe between Shadow Word Death and Light of the Naru. Light of the Naru is a really clutch 3 heal. It's like the Earthling Farseer doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, it's like a... It's
a really useful card against Freeze Mage, actually. It's a lot more interesting than I initially thought about.
Yeah,
it's not just a gimmick card.
Yeah, when I think of Light of the Naru, initially I was like, okay, you can heal Blade Masters with this card. That's pretty good. But healing face, it's not really, or especially healing face in the Freeze Mage matchup, that's not something I really considered.
No, me neither, but I realize now that it's actually, it might just be the factor that wins in the game. Because he's seen just about everything coming from Kaldi right now.
Of course, Amaz is going to get the order right.
Yep.
Light of the Naru, and then heal yourself.
Yep.
Gives Light of the Naru, gives the Light Warden 3 attack.
Yeah. So what's the saving grace here? Oh, wow. No, that's not even it. There is nothing.
Kaldi is looking at the situation, but he knows Amaz has infinite fireballs in his hand.
Infinite, indeed. Yeah, there's no way. He could just ping himself. The noble way out.
Yeah. It's an Ekot play, if any. Okay, Loot Hoarder.
Awesome. You go,
right.
boy. Let's see what he gets.
And
he
then
gets his
Fireball
Frostbolt.
himself. Yes.
Yep. Alright, that was not enough. The mage not actually beating Priest, which I guess is somewhat to be expected, but it really came down to that Light of the Naru, didn't it? It was a 3 health thing, like at the very end there. Because he would have had to Holy Nova otherwise, which would not have killed Alexstrasza.
Well, no, Holy Nova and heal yourself. That would have, I think that would have been enough, actually, right? Yeah, Holy Nova plus heal yourself would have, plus the Shadow Word Death.
That would have been enough, but he couldn't have played...
no, that's exactly 10 mana.
But would he have been able to develop the board afterwards? I mean, he didn't need to, but...
He didn't need to develop the board, so I think Light of the Naru, even though it was good, Holy...
It was useless, right?
Yeah, Holy Nova would have done the same purpose.
Yeah, just plus 2 health is what you need. You need to be like just beyond 10 is all. Yeah, the only combination that would have killed him was double fireball, but because I lost track of how many fireballs were played from Archmage on Kaldi's hand. I think he had 3 fireballs played this entire game.
Yeah, he got 1 fireball from Archmage plus Arcane Intellect, and then he
pretty much it got mind controlled, and then the priest got infinite fireballs. So that's 1-1 here with Amaz versus Kaldi. So Amaz is gonna be just keeping his priest, while Kaldi's gonna pick. What do you think he's gonna take between Rogue and Druid?
I think Rogue and Druid are both pretty fair matchups for against the priest. Amaz has been quoted in saying that, oh, Druid's like one of the worst matchups for priest. Just the double combo is so hard to play around, and Druid tends to run a lot of 4 attack minions, whether it be the Azure Drakes or the Druid of the Claw. And also, just innervate plays are just generally so hard to deal with. If you can't deal with the first minion they innervate out, that minion can deal 4 damage, 8 damage, 12 damage. You can just keep hitting you in the face over and over again. But at the same time, Rogue, back when there was Miracle Rogue, traditionally Miracle Rogue versus Priest was one of the most one-sided matchups in the game. Miracle Rogue having like a 60-70% win rate over Priest, just because the Priest couldn't challenge what Miracle Rogue had, especially the Auctioneers. But now that there's no Auctioneers, I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know. I haven't really played much of that matchup recently. He picks the Rogue, actually, so he still thinks the Rogue has a pretty decent chance against him over the Druid. So he may be running a different type of Druid than I was initially expecting.
Okay, so initially we see from Kaldi's hand that it's going to be a more minion-based type of Rogue. There's 2 types of rogues right now that people are running. The first is the minion-based ones that have like Dr. Boom, Ragnaros, and maybe even the Trade Prince Galawix. And the other version is kind of a more bursty rogue, and they run cards like the Tinker's Sharpsword Oil, and they basically try to burst your opponent out in a few turns.
Yeah, I've seen them like run the old backspace rogue, just kind of a reflavored, so that it's maybe a little. I think Tinker's Sharpsword Oil really enables that deck nowadays, with Blade Flurry just being such a massive board player.
Yeah, if you use Tinker's Sharpsword Oil, there's just a lot of synergies that go with it. There's like the Blade Flurries, there's Preparation is just really good. Because Tinker's Sharpsword Oil is essentially 6 damage to the face sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you have a Blade Flurry, it can be up to 9 damage to the face.
Yeah, it's a little bit more balanced than the Alpha Bite Savagery, but it's the same amount of damage output. And this is really going to be a slow start for the Priest, no minions, so Amaz is going to have to wait for his Dark Cultist. I haven't even seen a Dark Cultist now that I think of it.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's such a strong card though, so I'm not sure if Amaz would cut it, but there's just so many random cards in Amaz's deck, like Sneed's Old Shredder and Ragnaros, that it's possible that he could have cut it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out here why you would do so.
The Thought
fine.
Steal...
He's gonna get Assassin's Blade. Don't worry about it. It's gonna
Thought
just
Steal
find
into
the
Deadly
one.
Poison.
No problem, right?
Yeah, this is kind of not what you want as the Priest player. The way Priest wins in this matchup is that they develop a board early and Rogue can't deal with it. One of the more famous games was a Firebat was playing Rogue against, I believe, one of the Korean players at BlizzCon, and the Korean player just developed the board way too much, and Firebat didn't have the right answers, and even though he was running Miracle Rogue, the Priest won.
Okay, just because he had the advantage on the board. Well, sometimes you still have to find, like back in Miracle Rogue, it was still, you still had to find the card cycling mechanics. If you didn't find those on time, or no ability to board wipe, then that was still a problem. It's not like you won 100% of your games, but it was still lopsided. Not like Control Warrior Freeze Mage, but in a fairly fair manner, like 60 to 70%, I feel, is acceptable when you're playing a counter deck. All right, so right now, if you are Kaldi, do you just Deadly Poison and trade away one of your minions, or
there's a lot of options here.
Yes.
I think the problem with Deadly Poison is that it just doesn't fully utilize your mana, and you're also not that scared of the tokens that your opponent's Violet Teacher can throw out. Wow, great top deck.
That is insane.
Not only does he clear the Violet Teacher easily, not putting a lot of damage on his minions, but he gets a 1/1 token. That's great.
This is arguably the best top deck he could have had in this specific circumstance, I think.
Well, fortunately, Amaz can board clear right now with the Akanai Circle. I believe he kept that combo in his opening hand, so he deserves this clear.
Yeah, it's one thing you need to be able to do, because rogues don't, I mean, they need to get, a really good sprint with prep to replenish their hand. So if you can get a good 2-for-1 here and maintain the Akanai on board and transition to the late game, you're going to have a much easier time. It's a nice board clear. It's not like hyper value, but it's fine.
Well, not a very exciting turn. Just an obvious Sludge Belcher right now.
Oh, come on, that was exciting. There's an Akanai Soul Priest that just died.
Oh, man. All the excitement.
That's crazy. Shadow Madness is here, and Shadow Madness recombo you later, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening.
Kaldi's like, oh no.
Oh no,
What is it
not
gonna
this,
be?
please.
Harrison Jones? No. Starving Buzzard.
It's no problem. He's just going to Sneasel Shredder into Gazrilla. There you go. Get a card draw off of that. Not quite what was planned. That's like the worst outcome.
Mhm.
There is no worse 5-drop. It's
there
worse. No, there's none. Anti-Healbot and Bomb Blobber are the worst.
Okay.
And like, and this is like under them. I don't even know how you can have worse than that.
I trust you, Noxious. You seem to be like the master of useless Hearthstone trivia.
What do you mean by that? I know perfectly interesting information. So I think you let the Buzzard live just to spite Amaz. You just killed the recombobulator.
I mean, it's basically, are you going to play around whether he has pandas in his deck for the recombobulator, or are you going to play around whether he has beasts in his deck for the...
Oh, he
Oh,
does
wow.
not. I am shocked.
So basically, this is Kaldi saying, I think it's more likely that you have beasts
Oasis
in your deck
Snapjaws.
than... Yeah, Oasis Snapjaws than pandas.
Oh my goodness. Oh, please kill me now. I'm dying here. Alright, so... okay, this is actually not that bad of a turn, right? I mean, Sylvanas can just get... you can't feel good about either of those plays, but... you still have to make them.
Yeah, I guess Sap is the play. And these minion-based rogues, I think they run 2 Saps, so...
Yeah,
I
most
think
of them
there's probably going to be a second one left in the deck.
Yep. Also, we'd like to thank the current top donors for the Child's Play Foundation fundraising that we're doing right now. OG Wilson, who donated $50, and Kingwin for $100, which is fun name there.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Every little bit helps. $50, $100. They can buy part of a console for these new gamers in the hospitals.
All right, so back to the game. Amaz is currently... I feel like he's in a really nice position with that Sylvanas just being really annoying here.
Yeah, not really a great way to deal with the Sylvanas. He could maybe eviscerate it.
And give the slime... I mean, giving the slime is not really a big problem because he can just, Blade Flurry it off the board eventually, but...
Yeah,
that might actually be it.
Yeah, the problem is like all your minions are like... They're strong minions, and you don't want them to get stolen, so you'd rather give him a slime and give him the eviscerate rather than having him potentially steal a Trade Prince or a Ragnaros.
Yeah, stealing Trade Prince is one of the funniest things with mind control. Have you ever done it? You just both mind control back and forth until fatigue hits, and then you're still doing it. Because you don't want to let the opponent have it.
I can't honestly say that's ever happened to me.
It's awesome. It's arguably the most awesome thing. One day you shall witness it. Alright, so there's a Sneasel Shredder, which I think is a really strong card at the moment because a silence would be necessary to deal with it, or some kind of sap, which it would just come back at this point.
Yeah, I think the Sneasel Shredders, the popularity of that card has increased dramatically after Kit Kats used it and got 3 Kel'Thuzads in a row in the ESL tournament. I'm sure you've seen that highlight. Noxious,
I have
right?
seen that. It's Sneasel Kel'Thuzad is basically what it is. It's not even a Shredder at this point. There's no way that the Kel'Thuzad is just hiding in there all the time. Yet. Okay, so what we can hope for here is that Ragnaros is YOLO played, kills the Shredder, and then spawns a Lore Walker Cho.
Yeah, Lore Walker Cho, I find sometimes, if you get the Lore Walker Cho, it's sometimes better for your opponent than it is for you, because your opponent always has the option to kill your Lore Walker Cho, but you don't always have the option to kill your own Lore Walker Cho. Oh,
See,
kills
Lore
a
Walker
sneak.
Cho. Oh no,
Harrison Jones. Okay, that's pretty average, I would say, right?
Yeah, it's really on the average scale of what you can get from Sneeds. It's actually, like, the average I feel, from what I calculated, was somewhere around the 5 mana cost, but even then, this one is a fairly bad 5 mana card. It's not that interesting. Like, you'd rather get a Hogger, obviously. So it's a slightly underneath the average you're going to get.
Okay, it looks like there's going to be a Shadow Word Death coming.
Is there a lethal looming here with Akanai ping? That's 6, 7, 8.
I mean, Noxious, if...
It's coming in the next few turns.
If he had stolen that Assassin's Blade, then maybe.
Oh, he's probably going... If he Thought Steals, he's going to get it. But he might not be interested in doing so.
He's not interested in winning, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Yes, but Amaz does what Amaz wants.
Ma's doing that in the right order. Circled before Akanai.
I had so many people shame concede when they do that and just swipe their own board. It's pretty amusing. All right, so this is a position I'm not sure I feel comfortable in being Kaldi. I guess Deadly Poison would help a lot here. He could
Deadly
still
Poison.
get it. Yeah, if he
needs to
prep
steal it
Fan of
from
Knives.
Amaz.
Let me get that. So prep Fan of Knives here, I guess, to draw the card and then Dagger of Deadly Blade Flurry.
Yeah, I'd say prep Fan of Knives is probably your best hope.
I mean, you have to backstab something first,
Yeah,
right? You have to
backstab
try
maybe the 4/7 first.
Yeah, on the options that you do find the Deadly Poison and you God draw. And if you do that, it's going to reset the board in a way. But there's like one out right now in Kaldi's deck, I think. He's going for it.
All right. Oh, he's not going to prep.
He has to. Doesn't he? Otherwise, he can't do the whole dagger. Yeah. Oh yeah, he can do it. Never mind. Well, no, he can't.
Well, he can
Yeah,
prep.
he could. Yeah.
No, he couldn't.
Okay, now he has to Blade Free for 2 everything. So at least like 3 things will die. So the Akanai lets... Actually, that's lethal for Amaz, I believe. Ping, attack, hold... No, he's gonna be 2 off. Oh, never mind. Now it is.
Yeah, that's lethal. Señor del Fuego, according to Abigail.
Ragnaros, Señor del Fuego. Yo hablo español. Taran tan tan. Alright, so this is another Ragnaros kill. How many kills does he have to his name right now? If you go back like to the start of Hearthstone, if you go way back, like how many kills on that guy?
Oh, over 9,000.
Over 9,000. All right, that makes it a little. I think it's just about.
You
right.
know what? Amaz probably accounts for about 1,000 of those 9,000. He's
That's
just
20% chance to hit.
Yeah, he's just so famous for getting good rag RNG, stealing rags, putting rag in all of his decks, and it just always seems to work out for him.
I don't know how he does it though. It doesn't make sense to me. So Kaldi's starting with a 1-0. It followed into a 2-1 by Amaz here. So the only deck that Kaldi has left is his Druid.
I mean, it's still not a terrible position for Kaldi. I would say Druid is still, depending on the version, I would say the versions with combo are probably more favored against Priest. So he can very easily deal with this Priest, but then he has to deal with Amaz's last deck, which I believe is
the mage as well.
And if it's a mech mage, I would say it's somewhat even, but I maybe give a slight edge to the mage. So
yeah, depending on how fast it depends on the starting hand a lot of the time. The starting hand is the deciding factor, I feel, in that matchup, because you can establish massive aggression, and if the opponent, if the Druid doesn't find his ramp, sometimes it can be really problematic. Or no swipe, with the Clockwork Gnomes just staying around for 3 turns. It can be really annoying.
Well, it's kind of about both players finding their ramp. Druid with the Innervate Wild Growth, and then Mage with the Mech Warpers.
True.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, though. So Sunwalker is in the opening hand for Kaldi, and what that tells me is that there's probably no combo in this deck. Sunwalker is a card that is only going to be in Wall Druid. It's not very aggressive at all. It's not very good for comboing out your opponent. So we're just going to see massive amounts of taunts against Amaz.
And Kaldi mulliganing everything for Wild Growth, which is obviously the proper play. I mean, what else?
Well, you could keep Innervate, I guess.
Yeah, if you had it, but he didn't, so. This is a really, really slow Druid. It's funny because I didn't expect that type of deck to come back in the metagame. I've been saying for a long time that Druid was, for a long time, going to be forced in a weird position of having to revolve around Force of Nature Savage Roar, which turned out to be somewhat true for a long time, but it seems like I'm being proven wrong these days.
I think a big part of it was that just Miracle Rogue was so strong, and then if you try to fatigue out Miracle Rogue, they can just kill you too easily.
Yeah.
And you needed, basically, when Miracle Rogue is popular, you needed that combo to finish the game before Miracle Rogue could do its thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Kel'Thuzad.
I would just like to say something before. There's a contest right now on Twitter by King Win, where you can win Hearthstone card packs by retweeting. The tweet is probably going to be given to you in the chat. I'll be linking it right now. And back to the game. Sorry about that. Little interruption.
Yeah, I want one of those card packs. Maybe get
Yeah,
a
me too.
Kel'Thuzad.
I want 17,000.
17,000. I want over 9,000. So we have the Sludge Belcher going down for Kaldi. And now that I think about it, I think one of the cards Amaz has cut is the Sludge Belcher. We haven't really seen it out from any of his decks.
Have you seen Dark Cultist? Because I haven't either.
Yeah, no Dark Cultist, no Sludge Belcher in this Priest so far.
Because I'm guessing he's not facing as much aggro in tournament settings, so he's not too worried about it. He wants to make sure that he can answer those big, beefy druids, for instance, which is a deck that has gained massively in popularity.
And not only is he's not playing on facing aggro because he banned Hunter.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to build a deck that's anti-Hunter at all. And also Zoo is not that popular because it's just not as good anymore. And also people playing Warlock, they might just play Handlock instead. In fact, surprisingly, out of 16 players in this tournament, there's only 4 Warlocks.
Yeah, which is unusual because most of the tournament in the past have been they always had a high Warlock representation due to the fact that they could mind games their opponent a lot. But since most people expect them to be Handlocks nowadays for the sake of consistency, then it's not as unpredictable.
Yeah, Handlock isn't even that good anymore, I feel like. Just because everyone's running 2 BGH, so many Shadow Word deaths.
Is that the Dr. Boom syndrome?
Yeah.
Are they suffering because of Dr. Boom?
Yeah, but we're about to see a huge play. Double Northshire. Amaz is going to draw all the cards he wants. Is there going to be another heal coming down? Either.
I mean, never go full Northshire. I learned that very early, but Amaz is going to make it work.
I mean, what's Kaldi going to do? Use Ancient of Lore to heal one of his own minions next turn? It's certainly possible.
What? This would be absolutely awesome. Double BGH there in Kaldi's deck. I like that a lot. It's not that it's super uncommon nowadays, but I still do like the addition of that. Now, there's a few lines of play here, but none of them really feels stellar.
You don't really have any good Kel'Thuzad. Wait, you
could to get the slime back, I guess.
Well, you can actually get the Druid of the Claw back if you
wrath it.
Yeah, if you wrath your own Druid with Kel'Thuzad.
But then you don't even kill Lotheb at that point.
I mean, it's something, right?
Yeah, it's something. It is something. I think you could slow play this, I guess, because you haven't seen Sludge Belchers in the past 2 games, so you could throw Black Knight as a body. I guess.
Well, we don't. Kaldi doesn't really have the.
What if he just wraths the Lotheb after Innervate and plays Ancient of War, sorry.
Wraths it to try to clear it? I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's gonna do. I mean, 5/8s, they're just so threatening.
Yeah, especially when you're playing against a priest who's just gonna keep getting value non-stop out of it. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things to face. But now the 2 Northshires are still up.
Yeah, you know, one of the other most important cards for the priest in this matchup is Vol'jin. And Vol'jin, if they get the Vol'jin off on an Ancient of War, they can get like a 6/10, which is pretty much impossible for Druid to deal with unless they have the Keeper.
I haven't even seen Vol'jin though. But yeah, it's a really huge help in the Ram Druid matchup.
Oh my
and now
God.
Kel'Thuzad is going to start coming out if he doesn't... too many cards, handle it.
I mean, Amaz could draw 4 more cards now if he wanted to.
Yeah, but that's going to put him over the top. I think you just trade maybe with one of your Northshires into the 4/1.
Let's see, he has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards right now.
Yeah, so he has to trade at least one Northshire if he hopes to get anything.
If he does this, he won't overdraw.
Yeah, but unfortunately he's going to be out of the circle for the AoE board clear at any point.
Oh man.
Aha.
Craig
Still a pretty dry hand, but the Druid doesn't really have amazing answers either.
Was that attack into the Ancient of War playing around Ancient of Lore heal?
Yeah, definitely. It was really... I think it couldn't have been anything else, could it?
Yeah. That's pretty funny, actually. Oh,
All
man.
right. There's there's
plays.
nothing. This is terrible. This is... you could KT, but you're playing into Shadow or Death, and then he trades, so... How do you feel about that, really?
I don't feel very good at all.
Yeah. Sounds to me
Yeah,
like...
I guess you just kind of have to put KT on the board.
Wow, that is risky. But I mean, I guess that you have to, but it still is an amazing risk you're taking.
Imagine if Maz had thought stolen innervate and just innervated mind control. It's pretty sick.
No, don't say that. Well, it's gonna happen somehow. He's gonna get himself two innervates.
Well, the board can be cleared right
It's
now
impossible. Yeah, it
with
can be cleared.
Holy Fire.
And once Kel'Thuzad is out of the way, I mean, do you even bother because you've got Sylvanas? Like, do you really care?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can just attack one, then Holy Fire KT. It basically keeps his whole board alive anyway, and even gets to heal the lowest HP injured Blade Master.
I think the key of this game was just Amaz drawing way too many cards with his Northshires and Kaldi not drawing any with his Ancient of Lores.
Yeah, I mean, Ancient of Lore, if he gets an Ancient of Lore now, it could help a little bit, but...
Mind control tech.
Whoa. Dr. Boom is nowhere to be found.
Well, Mind Control Tech is actually one of the cards that helps in the Druid versus Priest a lot. Because usually when Priest develops a full board, there's no way for Druid to clear that board. Like, Druid is just such an honest class. The biggest board clear they have is maybe Azure Drake Swipe, and Azure Drake typically isn't in these kind of decks. So Mind Control Tech is an option to try to steal like their biggest creature with a 1 in chance.
It's just interesting to know that Dr. Boom has warped the metagame a lot around itself. But you can also just... Sometimes you can metagame against it with stuff like Mind Control Tech, but once that becomes too prevalent, you can also just... It's kind of a cycle. And I like the way that Amaz built his deck so far. We haven't seen much early game. Oh, there goes the Dark Cultist. Okay, maybe I was just completely mistaken.
Yeah,
it was just interesting. 2 games in a row.
When Dr. Boom first became popular, we saw a lot of like double BGH, and we even saw double Mind Control Tech. But now that people are saying, hey, people are running double Mind Control Tech and double BGH, maybe I just won't use Dr. Boom as much. And so because of that, people are cutting down to like 1 BGH and 1 Mind Control Tech. And it's really funny how that process goes.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old Face Hunter, just coming in to abuse some of the way too slow decks like Freeze Mage a long time ago. And then that became a cycle that was infernal, because you were either facing Freeze Mage, which nullified you, or Face Hunter that doesn't... Both of them just didn't interact with you at all. Alright, Cenarius. Not a bad top deck here, but not good enough, probably. I mean, he can steal one if he even cares to, with Cabal.
I mean, this game is just, seems a little bit over, and we're just seeing like a 10-minute death animation for the Druid.
Yep, it's not... I can't disagree with that, honestly. I mean, Kaldi can't feel good about this. I guess a clutch MC Tech could just be fun, but...
Yeah, like MC Tech, steal Ragnaros. Ragnaros clears Amaz's other big minion, and Amaz doesn't draw Shadow Word Death or Mind Control. That's
and then that
a
does that for
possibility.
2-3 turns in a row, right? And Sylvanas is not played either.
There's still a chance.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I'm just thinking of that Dumb and Dumber meme. So you're saying there's still a chance? Yeah, there's still a chance.
Oh my god. Okay, so he steals 1 Treant, and then sacrificially throws his stuff into Cenarius, or just goes full face. Okay.
Oh, is he gonna play around Mind Control Tech?
Well, he can't. I mean, he's gonna have... Yeah, he does, actually.
Yep.
He actually throws everything out. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Okay.
He, like, kind of played around it and then decided not to.
Well, that's a pretty... Well, okay, no. I was gonna say a pretty card here. Well, what if he gets the Agonai? Okay, never mind. Oh, wait! No, he's got
that's...
stuff. That's not gonna do anything, come on.
That's almost good.
That's almost nice. Oh my god.
I mean, you can almost play your... Well, you can play your entire hand right now.
What's that gonna do? What's that gonna do, Monk? I ask you.
Yeah.
I mean, does he have to just go like coin, innervate, Keeper of the Grove, big game hunter, big game? I mean, there's no point to that.
Stall points. I mean, when else When else are you gonna use 5 cards in a single turn
Yeah,
with
true,
7
you're
mana
right.
left?
You're right. You're right. You have to give him style points. Oh,
Yeah.
man, that Kel'Thuzad play was just so excruciating to look at.
Mhm.
'Cause it did nothing.
Yeah, Kaldi must be feeling a little sad right now. He doesn't get that many opportunities to show himself in tournaments, and this one he's probably gonna go out in the first round.
And the mind control to steal the Wild Pyromancer
Oh
to
man,
trigger an
such,
AoE.
such value.
Yeah. And then you negate the coin in the innervate of your opponent, obviously. Yep. So, do you think Amaz is currently playing it around like some kind of 22 damage combo burst? Because he's seen 4 cards just stay in his opponent's hand for about 10 turns now. He's got to be thinking, oh, this guy's running a combo.
Well, he's probably keeping track of the coin, or maybe he's keeping track of the coin. I don't know, but I think just judging from the fact that there's Kel'Thuzad and Kel'Thuzad in this deck, like I've never seen a deck that runs Kel'Thuzad and combo.
Me neither,
So
but
I'd say probably not.
he seems overly cautious at the moment, or at least excessively cautious. Not overly, but just very, very cautious.
Well, when you play a lot of tournaments like this, you just kind of have to feel like you just try to play. You just have to play as safe as possible so you don't win. That's actually not
is
great.
the Fell Cannon going to kill everything on Amaz's side? One at a time. Oh wow, wild growth. And this Recombobulator hates Amaz, man. This Starving Buzzard, now the Fell Cannon. What are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, this is one of the worst draws possible.
What? Do it.
2
No,
mind
okay.
control attacks.
No, this is. They're not metagaming against the same thing, are they? Amaz went full anti-control, and Kaldi went full anti-aggro. Or anti-aggro, whatever you want to
You know what? Like, this Fell Cannon could be actually pretty good.
But it's
Oh,
over.
no, it's
again.
over, yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, the Fell Cannon could kill off one of Amaz's creatures so that, he
MC
wouldn't be
Tech,
weak
oh,
against MC
yes.
Tech. Oh, there we go.
Oh, Fell Cannon tries to kill everything. Chaos. And people just want to watch the world burn, and so does Ragnaros, which actually sets Kaldi on fire, and he's dead now.
Yeah,
Unfortunate
poor Kaldi.
turn event. Yep.
Yeah,
Scalded Kaldi.
There we have it. I guess the fan favorite Amaz takes match number 1.
Yep.
Archon Gaming over Fnatic.
His priest deck being very solid. I really like the roster of cards in there. I mean, Sneed's Old Shredder. That's not something I see every day in a priest deck, and I'm happy to have seen this. So, yeah, really nice first match.
Yeah. Amaz really, he tweaked his priest deck to be really good against what he thought would be brought out in this tournament. And I have to say, he did a really good job. All the cards that he put in this deck, they kind of worked out. The Light of the Navru, and against the mage, it healed for 3 damage. And in this game, it healed the injured Blade Master.
Yep.
Sneed's Old Shredder, always getting value, getting Melganis. Like, what's not to love?
Yeah.
Recombobulator hasn't been amazing, but still it's usually gotten a lot of value off with the Shadow Word match.
Shadow Madness Blaze with combo, like that's basically the best scenario to use them. And also, you know, you could always recombobulate a crappy legendary that you get. Let's say you get Nozdormu, recombobulate that thing to a Mal'Ganis. There are very few options for you to get at 9 mana, so you have like a, I think 15% chance or 20% chance of getting it. Maybe in 25. I keep forgetting. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back in 10 minutes after a short break. Don't go anywhere. King Gwyn for charity event Winter 2015 is going on, and as usual, you know, just check out the Child's Play Foundation donation links in the chat that have been advertised by Moobot. Be right back.
Go Moobot.